Talk Bomb.
Book Club Shmook Club is brought to you by TalkBomb.com. It's a book review show where Kristen and her brother @WillRogers2000 talk about books and whatever else they want. Subscribe on iTunes, Stitcher, or wherever you typically get your podcasts. I'm writing a letter to Daddy. His address is heaven above. Oh, that's a bummer for me to sing.
Can somebody go get me help? Kristen's got me trapped and she's trying to feed me a dead bird. I ate half of it and wasn't that bad, but... Oh, welcome to Book Club Shmook Club.
Hi guys, I'm Kristen.
I'm William.
And we are going to talk about whatever happened to Baby Jane today.
Oh, yes, we are.
So for all of our friends who may not have read the book, I have our spoiler-free summary of it right up off the top.
It's up and off and over the top. So let's get it out of the way. Spoiler-free. What is whatever happened to Baby Jane about?
That's a good description of the movie. Up and off and over the top.
You're right.
That's it. That's your spoiler-free summary.
That does sound like a 60s like review. It's up and over the top. Go see whatever happened to Baby Jane at the local cinema.
Cineplex. Okay. Whatever happened to Baby Jane? What happens to any of us? We grow old. We fear our mortality. Stop. I was trying to be all serious. You're fucking me up.
That sounded like you were like, yes.
All right. Okay. Whatever happened to Baby Jane? What happens to any of us? We grow old. We fear our mortality. Why is that so hard for me to say? Fear our is hard for me. Anyway, we cling to the idea of youth and we all play out our adolescences in different ways with varying degrees of success. We furiously scribble over the faces of those we envy. We starve them and punish them for their beauty. We style our hair in freaky baloney curls and sing songs about our daddies. Yes, I think we can see a little of Baby Jane's story in all of us. Jane and Blanche Hudson are sisters who were formerly in the business of show. Jane is a child star and then Blanche is a bona fide adult one, and Jane has been jealous ever since. She's also not so hot on the fact that because Blanche is in a wheelchair, Jane has to bring her meals and take care of her. If it weren't for that mysterious car accident that they were both involved in so long ago. Jane's jealousy turns into a rage that builds and builds. What the fuck is going on?
What's happening to your mouth right now?
I don't know.
You mentioned something about baloney curls. I feel like you got baloney mouth.
I do have baloney mouth. God damn it.
What are baloney curls?
Like a big fat curl.
Like she's been curling
Like
her hair
with
using
baloney.
like a big baloney instead of curlers.
You know how they're like rag curls? You use baloney instead. It falls apart. It's a mess.
Oh boy.
Jane's jealousy turns into a rage that builds and builds, and that rage has a body count, and they ain't all humans. Join us for whatever happened to little Baby Jane.
Wow. So there you have it. If you've never read the book, if you've never seen the movie, do you know what happened now and whatever happened to Baby Jane? I'm not sure, but listen and we'll discuss.
Yes.
Wow.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, just a big old wowie wow.
I know.
Kristen?
I'm taking my bowie bow.
Oh my God. What is your history with whatever happened to Baby Jane?
I saw it, I think when I was like a teenager or something. Mom showed it to me.
Whoa. Okay.
Yeah. And I thought it was sweet.
Yeah.
And I don't know that I've ever seen it since, but I was just like, oh man, it's a fucked up crazy movie that's good.
Yeah.
And I've always liked it. I don't know. I've liked the imagery from it. I know it's kind of campy and crazy.
Okay.
And like, I've always had a very soft spot in my heart for whatever happened to Baby Jane.
Did you remember a lot of it going into reading it now?
No, I remembered the really iconic stuff. Like I remembered that she, which this isn't really a spoiler, that she fed her a rat. Well, didn't feed her a rat. She gave her a rat on a tray
plate,
for her lunch.
Flat rat.
Yeah. Rat out flat. What besides that? Her dancing on the beach at a certain point.
Yeah. So decent, sort of like iconic.
Yeah.
Freako shots.
Certainly remember what Bette Davis looks like.
Oh boy. Yeah. I don't know how you could forget once you've seen it.
Completely. I didn't remember Edwin Flagg at all.
Okay.
He's somebody who comes in at a midpoint of the book, but yeah.
Yeah. Edwin Flagg is hired. Baby Jane was a child actress and she wants to,
oh my God.
Go back out on the scene.
Oh no, never mind. It's in the long one. Never mind.
What?
I had a thing that I was excited to put in my summary.
Oh, you thought you didn't have it?
Yeah.
All right, well, that's just incentive for everybody who hasn't read or watched it to go do it so you can hear the spoiler full one.
Yeah.
But so Baby Jane now as an older woman wants to go back on the road with her act, but her act is very Shirley Temple, specifically little girl-y. However, she hires a piano player to accompany her, and that is Edwin Flagg.
Right. What's your history?
Nothing.
Okay.
No history. At best, about a year ago or more, for a long time, for years now, I've been trying to figure out how to do a horror movie podcast. In a way that, like, I feel like there are so many movie review shows. I don't just want to do another one. I want to do something that's interesting or has a particular angle.
Yeah.
And then I found it, or so I thought, when I found out about whatever happened to Baby Jane. I was researching horror films.
Yeah.
Because I like the genre, so I was trying to learn not just about movies that I like in the genre, but specifically, like, how did it start?
Yeah.
What were the first horror films and things like that? And I came across the Grand Dame Gunal subgenre.
Love that. I also found it referred to as hag horror.
Hag horror.
Which I like less.
Psycho Biddy, I've also heard.
Psycho Biddy. I like that more.
Yeah.
Hag, I can't tell. I don't know. I guess it depends on what it's referring to. It strikes me as misogynistic in a way that I'm not sure I like.
I totally agree. I totally agree. Men just get older, women turn into hags.
Yeah.
I feel like that's the implication.
Yeah, completely.
And it is shitty.
Yeah.
But I am at odds with this subgenre, I think, just in general. Like, what? You laughing at my feet? I'm praying.
Sorry,
wait, above and below. As above, so below. I have my hands clasped on the desk, and I have my feet together, like the bottoms of my feet, as if I'm doing like prayer hands, but with my feet. And Kristen was laughing at me, and I was gonna act like she's nuts from laughing at me, and then I realized that I look like I'm sitting like you hogtied me, but I'm sitting straight up.
Also, for anybody maybe who's like into yoga at all or anything, William is basically in a Baddha Konasana.
You know that I study my yoga and I fit it into my everyday life.
Well, what's funny is we've complained about how it's fucking freezing in this room before, and I was scooching this blanket that I thought was kind of randomly on the floor to cuddle my feet underneath, and then I accidentally pulled it away and revealed William's feet in prayer position down there.
My foot secret has been revealed.
Oh my God. Sorry,
God.
guys. I know it's not an audio treat.
Whatever.
It's not a visual treat, though, either. I'll tell you that right now.
No, not so much. I don't have very pretty feet.
They're fine. Standard.
So I found out about hag horror, Psycho Biddy, Grand Dame Gunal, the subgenre.
What does Gunal mean?
I don't know what Gunal means.
Yeah.
I don't know. That was one of the things that I was going to research if I did this, because one of the ideas that I had to kick things off would be, okay, I found out about this really specific subgenre where it's literally a bunch of movies after whatever happened to Baby Jane was released and was a huge success were made that were all called like the same thing. Whatever happened to Baby Jane? Hush, hush, sweet Charlotte.
Yeah. Well, that has something to do with whatever happened to Baby Jane.
It's written by the same guy and it also stars Bette Davis. But then there were a million others where it's just like, what's the matter with Auntie Roo?
Oh yeah.
Like they're all called the same thing. It's like, what are we going to do about June? Like you could really just kind of Mad Libs it.
Yeah.
And come up with a totally viable name. And this subgenre only seemed to exist for like maybe a decade in the 60s before it was just gone. And there are elements of like the Grand Dame Gunal subgenre that appear
I have to look up what the word Gunal means. Continue.
In other movies, because it specifically is just an older woman who goes crazy.
Right.
That's all it is. So that appears in other movies, but by and large, that little tiny like corner of the horror genre exploded and collapsed in the 60s. So I thought that was kind of fascinating, and I had earmarked from that moment whatever happened to Baby Jane. And only knew it to be a movie until you brought up the fact that it was a book, and I was very excited to read it. And holy cow, am I glad that we read it? And and I watched the movie as well. And I went from a week ago being like, all right, well, I'm busy. I go through these jags with our show where I'm like, crap, we're going to have to record. That means I actually have to read this thing.
Right, totally.
And it feels like homework. And then I start reading it and immediately go like, oh, all right, I love this. This might be one of my new favorite things ever.
Yeah, right, totally.
It's insane. And it happened again with Whatever Happened to Baby Jane. This is an amazing book.
I know. And I sponged up everything about it.
Oh, yeah.
By the way, Gunal is an entertainment with sensational or horrifying dramatic intent. It is also, I had to go down a few things to see that. The first thing that comes up when you Google Gunal, which is spelled Guignol, is that Gunal is the main character in a French puppet show which has come to bear his name. That's number one. And then a couple down, then you'll find out what that word just means.
Weird.
That puppet is the most famous example of Gunal, I guess.
Maybe mischievous young puppet.
Maybe in France it's like huge, actually. Who knows?
The Grande Dame puppet.
Basically.
Weird.
But yeah, so same deal. I read the book, I watched the movie, and also I'm all up to date on the show Feud, which is about the feud between Joan Crawford and Bette Davis.
Yeah.
And so far, it's pretty much been all about Whatever Happened to Baby Jane's production.
Well, it seems like it so very famously, Bette Davis and Joan Crawford had a feud in real life. Two very famous movie stars of like the 50s, 40s and 50s.
Like 30s and 40s.
40s and 50s.
Yeah.
Damn. And it all came to a head when they were shooting Whatever Happened to Baby Jane. So
yeah, because it was the first time they had worked together. They were just kind of orbiting each other before that.
So I think this movie is the backdrop for that entire show.
It's not, actually.
It's not?
Yeah, the movie is like over in the third episode.
Wow. Okay.
They hated each other forever.
Damn, then maybe I should have watched it because I considered it, but I was like, I can't.
It's like too much to get into.
Yeah.
I mean, they're still going to be, they're not totally done with it. Like they finished production.
Yeah.
But there was going to be the screening and then there's a bunch of fallout from the movie and the awards with the movie and things like that. So, but the filming part of it is over on the show Feud, which is excellent, by the way.
All right, cool. Maybe I'll have to double back because I really did enjoy this.
Watch it.
So I think it's safe to say that we both recommend Whatever Happened to Baby Jane.
Oh, yeah.
So if you have not read it yet, if you have not seen the movie, go do, frankly, both.
Yeah, totally. They're both great.
Because just like Psycho, and I'll have more to say about Psycho in this episode, but just like Psycho, the book and the movie are the same, but they're not.
Yeah, totally.
So I recommend both.
Me too.
Not one or the other. They don't replace each other. They are both great.
They really are. I feel like they're more similar than different. The movie is pretty loyal.
Yeah.
But they're still both so good that like you won't mind having read one and watched the other.
Completely agree. I would say the main difference to me, forgetting even that like there are like a couple of differences of like what happens to a character or even names. There's like a randomly different name of the same character, the maid. In the movie, she's Elvira. In the book, she's Edna.
Oh, really?
The main difference to me is going to be that in a movie, it's a movie. You're watching what people are doing. And largely you're following Baby Jane.
Yeah.
But in the book, you're in people's heads. You know how Baby Jane feels about things.
Right.
You can watch her thought process crumble and build up and crumble. It's just a different take. It's a different flavor.
Yeah.
And they're both fantastic.
They're both tasty AF.
Ooh boy. Scoop them up.
Yeah.
So because we both obviously recommend this book,
highly,
I guess you recommend the show.
Totally, the show's great.
Now, all right, maybe we should save this for the spoiler side.
Okay.
So I'm curious about how much they show of the filming of Baby Jane.
A good amount.
So they show like Susan Sarandon dressed up like Baby Jane.
Oh, William, I can't believe you haven't seen this.
I haven't seen any of it.
You haven't been exposed to anything about it? Like,
no, I don't really watch TV.
Because even their promotional pictures and stuff are like of them in character.
I didn't look up a single thing about the show.
Weird.
I'm busy. What am I to do?
You do watch TV.
I watch TV, but I don't like Allie and I.
Oh, William doesn't own a TV, guys. I don't know if you heard.
I'm not saying that. Like Allie and I, when we watch TV, it's us like we make dinner and then we're like, all right, let's put on Last Man on Earth, and then we browse to it on demand, watch it, and then the TV's off. So
yeah.
I don't not watch TV, but I don't necessarily see commercials and shit all that much.
Yeah.
Is that better?
I guess so. I was just busting your balls.
Well, consider them busted. Thanks a lot.
Somebody hit a sensitivo spot on old Willie.
Yeah. Anyway. Okay, so then why don't we get into the spoilery plot synopsis for whatever happened to Baby Jane.
Okay. So where we had left off in the spoiler-free one, Jane's jealousy had turned into a rage, and we were going to join together for whatever happened to Baby Jane. Okay. So real talk, Jane is a sick patootie. She dresses like a little girl and drinks like a real grown-up, alternately terrorizing her sister and bemoaning her own existence. Encouraged by Fanny Bryce's success playing a now grown-up baby Snooks, that's what I was excited and I thought they had left out. Jane puts an ad in the paper for an accompanist to revive her act and start being famous and rich again. Duh. The other motivation for this is that she's gotten wind that Blanche is trying to sell the house. And she can't do that, oh no. So Jane cuts off one of Blanche's only contact points with the outside world, her phone, and starts torturing her in earnest by starving her. You see, little baby Jane has been forging Blanche's signature and using up her money for a while now, and it seems like with her being difficult, Blanche has just about outlived her usefulness. It's Janie's turn now! She hires a real weirdo named Edwin Flagg, and she's all pumped about it, but Blanche and her only ally, their housekeeper Mrs. Stitt, keep getting in the way. After Jane catches Blanche trying to call a doctor for help, having painfully pulled herself down the stairs to do so, she ties her up in her room and gags her. When nosy old Mrs. Stitt finds out, she's gotta go. Jane didn't want to do it, she made her! Then, when her beloved Edwin comes by and happens upon Blanche, then runs out, Jane's got to do something about that too. She piles Blanche's slight frame into the car and hits Edwin with it. Then they're headed to a place Jane has fond memories of. They're headed to the beach. The cops are on to Jane because Edwin didn't die, and Mrs. Stitt's cousin reported that the Hudson House was the last place she was going to. But Jane's in Beach Day La La Land, and Blanche is on the verge of the great beyond. In what she feels are her dying moments, she tells Jane, who has believed that she drunkenly caused the accident that crippled Blanche, that it wasn't actually her fault. Blanche had been driving the car and meant to kill Jane, but the plan had backfired, and Jane was so drunk that everyone assumed she had done it, so Blanche just went with it. They have a moment where they wonder if their relationship and lives could have been different. Jane is lucid and sad. And then the cops come. A crowd forms. And Jane's lucidity dissolves. Disoriented by all the commotion, the crowd around her triggers memories of practicing her act on that very beach and the delighted people who would look on. And so Jane dances and sings while Blanche lays dying. The end.
I mean, the end... question mark, kind of. I mean, it's over, but it's like it doesn't end conclusively where you're like, oh, okay, so these are all the events that happened.
Oh, totally.
They end leaving you feeling like you didn't completely understand how things were going to resolve. Did Blanche die? Did they get to her in time to save her? Mm-hmm. Is baby Jane completely kaput? Is she just off the deep end and gone? What happens from here?
I know, we don't know.
Don't know, and never will.
And yet satisfying, which I think is a hard thing to pull off.
I totally agree.
Yeah.
One of the weirdest things about this book that I was not anticipating and could not have expected was that there's a twist.
Yeah, totally. I didn't remember that at all. It's not a very climactic twist.
No, I feel like it's an awful twist that raises way more questions than it
completely
answers.
Like what was Blanche's deal then?
Right. Like a great twist, I feel, has you go like, oh my God.
Yeah, totally.
So that's what happened.
Yeah.
Or everything that I thought was true wasn't true.
Right.
And I can see it now. I see everything so clear. But this is insane.
It is, and also like Jane being like, oh, we could have been friends or whatever. Like, could they have been? That doesn't seem the crux of their relationship sucking.
No.
Like, it certainly didn't help, but the reason that they weren't friends was that Blanche was more famous than Jane.
Yeah, so Jane was jealous.
Right, so the accident doesn't have a ton to do with that. It just adds to resentment because Jane has to, like, wait on Blanche.
Totally. Even prior to the accident that crippled Blanche, Jane was a huge pain in the ass.
Totally.
She had been a very successful child star. Then Blanche was more famous. But Blanche had a stipulation in her contract that whenever she does a picture, Jane should also have a picture. And as a result, Jane kind of like felt like...
Well, Blanche's pictures were really successful and Jane's weren't.
Yeah, but I think that she also recognized that it was all done sort of out of an obligation, so she was like
Totally
pissed off about that too.
She was the dingleberry.
Yeah,
she knew it.
She was the hanger on.
Yeah.
Yeah. Which is what I just call dingleberries.
Yeah.
But so she was also like a crazy alcoholic and would like openly mock Blanche at parties and stuff. She was already problematic.
Totally.
And over the top. And then there was the car accident that everybody assumed Jane was driving and ended up hitting Blanche. But no, Blanche was driving and tried to hit Jane.
Right.
And in the crash, which was just a crash into a gate from like 10 feet away.
Yeah, I know. I'm not sure how.
Snapped her own spine.
Yeah.
And then crawled out of the car to the front of the car.
Right.
And Jane ran away.
Right.
What?
I don't know.
If you crash a car and you snap your own spine.
It's one of those like suspend disbelief things.
I guess, like, but like it feels like it's weird because the book doesn't hinge on this revelation, but it feels like it's supposed to a little bit. Like it doesn't change the book, but it feels like it is supposed to be a moment of the two of them on the beach and Blanche finally revealing like, no, you have a horrible reputation because I let everybody believe you hit me with the car.
Yeah.
But it doesn't actually like change anything. It's just kind of like a weird like, huh? As a matter of fact, I thought, because I read the half the book, then watched the movie, and then came back and read the second half of the book.
Did you think that was something that they changed for the movie or something?
I was hoping it was something they changed for the movie. And I thought that maybe Blanche was lying. Jane, at this point, when they're on the beach.
To like appease her or something?
Kind of, or to like maybe make her like feel less totally unhinged. Jane has now killed the maid. Yeah. And has like tortured Blanche. Yeah. So I figured maybe Blanche was just trying to, and now Jane is like kind of like smiling and clapping and playing with sand on the beach. Like she is like out of her mind.
Completely.
I figured maybe Blanche was being like, you didn't cause my accident. I hurt you.
Right.
To maybe give Jane the opportunity to be like, what? So I'm not a monster? Or something. But it didn't make sense. And then I read the book and no, it's the same in the book. So I just don't like it.
Yeah.
It doesn't make sense.
I know. It just doesn't do anything really.
No, it sounds like Jane was fucking super problematic before that moment.
Totally.
So what they're saying is that Blanche pretended she got hit by the car. And then Jane took the heat for it. But no one ever really knew about that anyway. It was like a rumor that it happened.
Right. Totally.
And that drove Jane insane?
No. I guess that's what they're saying. It just doesn't make any sense though.
No, not at all.
Yeah.
I mean, I think it's also like maybe telling that it's like kind of like an early 60s view of mental health. Like it doesn't.
Yeah, maybe.
Maybe it's just not very like informed.
Maybe.
You know?
Yeah, it's not impossible.
I mean, even forgetting mental health, I guess physical health too, where it's just like, you could just kind of like push someone in their spinal snap. I don't know.
Yeah, I don't know how she managed to do that. They were pretty close to the gate.
Yeah.
Like I think Jane had gotten out to open the gate or something like that.
Yeah, she did. They were parked at the gate.
Yeah.
And then she drove into the gate.
Yeah, and that snapped her
severed her spine.
Yeah.
Now, I guess there are those things where it's like two guys get into a fight and one guy throws a punch.
Yeah, they're fluky things.
And it just like lands perfect.
It's
and
true.
the guy gets killed from like just like a punch. One punch.
Totally.
So it happens. It's just weird to be, I don't know.
Yeah. The whole thing's weird.
It's just very strange. Yeah. It doesn't change anything about how awesome the book is, but it's just like, it just feels like a big question mark out of nowhere that like, all right.
Yeah.
I don't know why you bothered.
Yeah.
Yeah, real strange.
Totally.
But the whole, literally the entire rest of the book is just holy shit from start to finish.
Completely. Did you listen to the audiobook?
Yes.
It was really good.
It was good. It was great.
The lady who did it was really, really good.
Yeah, I thought so too.
Yeah.
I was trying to figure out, one of the things that I was like looking for going into the book, once I realized basically that it was taking place with like two sisters that had been famous a long time ago. And now one is in a wheelchair and the other one takes care of them and she is losing her mind, the caretaker. I was like, okay, so why now? Like, if this has been the situation for 30 years, Blanche is in a wheelchair and Jane is the caretaker and is crazy, why now?
Are we picking up with them now? Or
not just why are we picking up with them now, but like, why what is going to push her further off the deep end? Because she's been off the deep end for a while, right?
Yeah.
Weirdly, I didn't really pick up on this, but like looking up the book later on, people like phrased it in a certain way that I was like, oh, that's like the catalyst for everything.
Mm-hmm.
Blanche was, Baby Jane was like vaudeville famous.
Right.
Like stage famous. Super duper famous, but like the vaudeville days are gone.
Yeah.
Blanche did movies.
Yeah.
And it used to be that you'd go to a movie and you'd be like, boy, that was good. I'll never see that again.
That again. Totally.
And now in the 60s, people have TVs and they start playing Blanche's movies on TV. So Blanche is watching her own movies.
Yeah.
And Baby Jane is seeing them too, and it is setting her off.
Yeah, she's like re-famous and she's getting all this fan mail and stuff.
So that's the thing. Like that is the thing that makes this story happen.
Totally.
Otherwise, it's just two sisters living in seclusion, and one of them's a horrible alcoholic, and one of them is in a wheelchair.
Yeah.
But this is like what causes Baby Jane to lose it.
Yep.
Weird.
I know.
And it's cool.
Totally. And so of the time, which makes it fun to read.
I like it a lot.
Yeah.
All right. Baby Jane.
Yeah. Thoughts?
I get a couple of things. The movie is like startling.
It's hard to talk about the book without talking about the movie, I feel like.
The movie's a big part of it.
Yes, because it's so distinctive.
Yeah.
And it's so visual.
Yeah.
Like, even the book is pretty visual. Like, it's really well written and everything. But, like, the visuals are so unique and so fucking crazy that the movie really, like, it's one of those things where, it's what you said. They're both great, but, like, the movie is so fucking good. Having that visual element really adds something to it.
I totally agree.
Yeah.
When I read the book, I was thinking Norman Bates for Baby Jane, where they're just like, yeah, she's like kind of childlike, but she's old.
Yeah.
And she's just like fat and she's an alcoholic. Like I was thinking book Norman Bates.
Right.
Chubby, middle-aged alcoholic.
Totally.
Okay. And sort of detached from reality.
Yeah.
She has daddy issues. Norman Bates has mother issues.
Yeah.
Like very, like they could date.
And it was weird that
they would love each other.
Well, Edwin Flagg is not unlike Norman Bates.
Oh, fair point.
But also, isn't it weird that the neighbor's name is Mrs. Bates?
Yes. Yeah. And that was part of what made me start to wonder.
Yeah.
Is there a connection?
Is there? Did you look it up at all?
I don't think there is a connection.
Timeline-wise.
I think it's one of these things where it's like,
right? Yeah.
Psycho is 1959, Baby Jane 62? Is 1960.
Oh, okay. Huh.
So I think it's just one of those things where it's like, there was something in the air.
Yeah, maybe.
You know, like people, sometimes they're literally just something like in the cultural zeitgeist that grabs you. And maybe madness, insanity
totally
was there, and regression.
Yeah.
A lot of regression.
Yeah. Yeah. Edwin Flagg. So I can see the Norman Bates thing with Baby Jane, but also Edwin Flagg has mommy issues.
Yeah.
He was born illegitimately. Yeah. Like Norman Bates. Right?
I think he was.
Yeah.
Or maybe they never got into that in the books, actually.
Yeah.
There's so much conflicting Norman Bates info.
I know. Between all the different, like.
Incarnations.
Yeah. But she's supposed to be like somewhat promiscuous, right? Like for like almost like early 1900s promiscuous or whatever.
Norma Bates?
Yeah.
I don't know.
I don't know. Anyway, but yeah, and also both kind of like have rage inside, but they come off as really polite. And I mean, Edwin Flagg is much more cloying than he is ridiculous in the movie.
Yeah, he is.
Did you catch what he eats at one point?
No, what?
I was hoping that you would.
What?
Okay, so you assume in the bowl there's some cereal in there.
Yeah.
He furiously cuts up a banana in there while he's talking to his mom because she's saying that he shouldn't go back to Jane Hudson's because of all the rumors about what she did to her sister. Okay. And then he pours half and half in there.
He's eating half and half on a banana in a bowl? With a spoon?
Yep. I assume that there's cereal in there, but there's no indication of cereal. There isn't cereal on the table. And he's eating it disgustingly.
Well, he's kind of a
shoveling it in. He's like, well, maybe I will go over there, mother. Like, it's disgusting. And I was like, oh.
Pound a nanner.
With half and half.
It's really weird.
Maybe that's like a weird 1962 delicacy. Like how, you know, like jellied meat was a big deal.
Yeah, maybe you're right. That's really weird. Yeah. Slam this nanner. Get back to Baby Jane's.
Vom.
Did you look up like the IMDb for Whatever Happened to Baby Jane?
Yeah.
Did you see who Edwin Flagg is?
What do you mean?
Who else? His other famous role.
Okay, this can't be possible, but I'm just going to put this out there.
Okay.
He reminded me of Francis from...
He is a lot
Adventure.
like Francis from
Okay.
Pee-wee, but no.
I know it's not possible, but I just wanted to say it. Who?
He played, I believe it was King Tut on the Batman 1966
Oh,
show.
really?
Yeah. I recognized him.
You know what? I
and then his
recognized him
IMDb
from
picture.
somewhere.
Yeah.
I saw his... I didn't make the connection. I saw his IMDb picture, but I didn't realize. That makes total sense. Because I was like, this guy looks like Francis, but he looks like I know him from something. And then I didn't look it up.
Yeah, it's that.
That's crazy.
It's that. I knew that he, just like you, I was like, what? He looks really familiar. And then on IMDb, it is his picture, him as King Tut.
That's
it's
amazing.
Like, holy shit. Another weird Batman connection.
Ooh.
Not really a connection. In the 90s animated show, there's an episode that really sticks in my memory where Killer Croc, there's a man who looks like a crocodile, he's a cannibal and stuff.
Yeah.
He runs away and joins the circus. Maybe I'm mixing things up. Whatever.
Keep
At
going.
one point, he teams up with somebody. This somebody is a little girl who with like those like curly cutesy
Baloney
hair and
curls.
dressed all cute. She's got baloney curls. She is like 60 years old, but she looks like a little girl.
Oh.
And her name is like Cutie Doll or something. And she's a villain. She's a Batman
It kind of rings a bell to me.
and she acts like a little girl, even though she's like 60.
It's from Batman the Animated Series?
Yeah. And she has, what you talking about, Willis? Who's that guy?
Gary Coleman.
She has Gary Coleman disease, where she looks young, but she is older. And, she's a Batman villain.
Wait, Gary Coleman doesn't have that disease, does he?
I thought he did.
The Jack disease?
Didn't he always look young? Jack looked old, not young.
Oh yeah, you're right.
Yeah.
So wait, there's a disease where you always look young. Yeah.
Yeah. Also, Webster had it, right?
Really?
Yeah, isn't
I
that
didn't
true?
know that.
Maybe I'm making this up. I thought this was like a crazy, well-known thing.
Maybe Gary Coleman looked old eventually. He was just short.
Was he just short?
William just Googled old people who look young disease.
Well, because I didn't.
I know it's helpful, but it's funny to see.
Progeria. No, that's the opposite.
Oh no, okay, yeah, that's the Jack disease. When I say Jack, it's a movie from the '90s starring Robin Williams and Jennifer Lopez is his mom.
People, what?
Yes,
His mom in that is Jennifer Lopez.
Yes.
Are you kidding me?
No.
Oh my god, that's insane.
Now William is simply Googling Webster.
Damn it, not Merriam Webster.
I'm about to say that's not going to be helpful.
Webster TV show. Yeah, the show was called Webster.
Yeah.
And
his name is what the fuck's it?
Emmanuel Lewis.
Yeah, go to personal life, I guess. I don't think that his personal life says Lewis was born in New York. He's a practitioner of Taekwondo. That's a really funny thing to put in your personal life thing.
Oh, here it is. Lewis was the child spokesperson for the Burger King Whopper.
There it is. William, I think he's just really short.
In Japan, he's a singer. Shit. Webster, what's his Emmanuel Lewis 2017? I'm going to Google now.
Okay. Or you could put Emmanuel Lewis disease.
Yeah, look.
Yeah, I know, but he does look pretty young.
I've got Emmanuel Lewis disease. Wait.
No, I think there's no medical reason for his still short stature.
But he looks like a little kid.
Well, other people have asked this. Look, there's a Yahoo question there you go.
Suffers from a rare kidney disorder that stunts the growth. Oh.
Yeah, he doesn't. I think he just is aging well. I don't think he has.
I thought there was a thing. I thought there was a kid on TV now that had this.
William, I've never heard of this disease.
Have I just made this up my whole life? The middle? Who's the kid on the middle?
He has like Asperger's or something.
Oh, he does?
Yeah.
Oh, I've heard that. Like, I've always heard these rumors where it's like that kid on that show. Not this specifically, this kid from the middle, but like,
well, that is the kid.
When people say like,
they say he's actually 30.
Yeah, you've heard those things, right?
That's like a joke rumor that you hear when you're a teenager about somebody on TV.
Well, I tend to take things very seriously.
This kid's probably like 12.
I don't know.
I think he just has autism.
All right, whatever. Well,
but wait,
anyway,
now I want to know if that's actually a disease. Can you put in like,
how am I going to find this?
Young forever disease?
I feel like the fact that we know nothing about this is not like putting a great light on us. The fact that we're like,
why? How can you know about every disease?
Look young forever disease.
I don't feel bad about that.
I guess. Shit, I don't know the characters' names.
William, I'm telling you, this kid does not have that.
What is happening? I don't know these. I don't know the kids' names.
I don't either.
Atticus Schaefer?
So just take a breath then.
I found him.
Okay.
I don't want to take a breath. I want to know.
Calm down.
Yeah. Schaefer has...
Oh, okay.
Oh, he has a disease. He calls his fragile bones. I can't pronounce it. Osteogenesis imperfecta. His small stature from his condition allows him to portray a character approximately 3 to 5 years younger than his real life age.
Oh, okay. So you were right, kind of.
Yeah, he's 18.
Oh,
he's
I'll be
18 and
damned.
he's able to play a 13-year-old because he has a condition.
Okay. All right. I take it back.
I feel a little bit better. I didn't know anything about it.
Mm-hmm.
I was obviously like modern jackassing it and like had to guess, but this is a thing.
Yeah.
He's not 45 and looks 13 or anything like that. Like I feel like that's the exaggeration part of the Batman character because we're talking about a character from a cartoon show.
Right.
But yeah, for sure the woman on that show who's a Batman villain that looks like a little girl and is actually 50 years old, I felt was very like based on Baby Jane.
Oh, completely.
Like a cartoonification of Baby Jane.
That rings a bell to me. I don't remember it totally, but even you just talking about it is like very no doubt. What are you laughing at? This whole thing?
Yeah, I'm just laughing that because like I really
because now I'm distracted because I'm thinking to myself, I feel like, because now I'm like, well, shit. I kind of feel like I've heard some story about like another actor who plays like a kid and they're actually
maybe it's not
older.
all one disease. You know what I mean? Like maybe it's not like, like Webster had a kidney disease and it maybe did kind of the same thing.
Totally.
And I think
Makes
really
sense.
do think that Gary Coleman had a thing like that.
I
think he looked younger than he really was.
I mean, we Googled him though, didn't we? Didn't it not say anything? Did we look him up just now?
No, it doesn't matter. Anyway, I just feel vindicated because this exists.
Yes, it does. Well, I mean, the concept exists. It's not like a disease that, whatever.
No, it's not it's not as you called it, like look young forever disease. It's not that.
But Gary Coleman aged.
This new disease is taking Hollywood by storm.
Oh, I know. They would love it.
Yeah.
Gary Cole has gotten aged of face. I mean,
Gary Cole.
I know.
Gary Cole is fine, Kristen. I don't want you to worry about Gary Cole.
I know.
Veep is coming back, and
fuck yeah.
I hope that he's in a substantial amount of episodes.
Is a cult classic.
Yeah, exactly. He's the boss from Office Space. This is Gary Cole.
Anyway, what I was saying was Gary Coleman is aged of face.
He's aged of face.
Yes, his face looks like appropriate for his age.
All right, fair enough.
Yeah. What other actors look appropriate for their age? Bet you didn't expect to hear about this on your book club podcast. Bam! Don't tell your mama.
This book club is a little bit different. You may not be ready to hear some of the stuff that we say. Crap.
Pardon the interruption. Book Club Shmook Club has no sponsors, so instead we rely on our listeners and patrons. If you enjoy the show, please consider going to patreon.com/talkbomb to help us cover our hosting fees and book fees, and to get dozens of Patreon-exclusive shows as a thank you. Please also consider leaving us a review on iTunes or Stitcher to brighten our day and maintain our show's reputation. If you like Book Club Shmook Club, the best thing you can do for us is to share the show with a friend. If you like this podcast, there's a good chance your friends will too. No matter what, we just hope you enjoy the show, though, so let's get back into it.
So, Baby Jane is torturing Blanche.
Yeah.
And kills her bird and puts it on a plate with a blop of mayonnaise on it.
He really went into detail about the whole blop of mayonnaise situation. I felt like I could see that bird.
I was freaked out enough when Blanche lifted the top off her food tray because they live in like a fancy pants rich person house.
Yeah.
And revealed the dead bird. And then I was more grossed out that Baby Jane put a blop of mayonnaise on the dead bird.
It's a really weird
than that
detail.
it was just a dead bird itself.
I know. In the book, is it her dead bird or just a dead bird?
I think it's just a dead bird.
Okay, that's what I thought.
Yeah. Weirdly enough, so I finished the book a while back and I did a refresher by rereading the synopsis on Wikipedia just to make sure that it was all fresh in my mind.
Well, me too.
Whoever wrote the Wikipedia for the book fucked up.
I know.
And it's some of it's movie and some of it's book.
I know. It was a little confusing.
It was really weird.
Because I remember when I was watching the movie, what you said before, I thought that they changed the name of the housekeeper to Elvira from what I didn't remember what it was, but I was like, I don't think her name was Elvira.
Right.
And then when I read the Wikipedia entry, I was like, oh, maybe I'm wrong, but I don't think that I am.
No. Halfway through the Wikipedia, they're calling her Elvira, which is the movie name. And then at the end, they reference that Edna Stitt's body has been found.
Oh, they do? Yeah.
It's the correct name from the book. So, way to go, geeks. Somebody get out there and fix the Wikipedia for the novel.
Please. Maybe we're just the geeks to do it.
No,
nah.
I'm not going to go update a Wikipedia page.
Me neither.
I have nothing in me that compels me to do that.
I remember at one point I had the idea to make Wikipedia pages for all my friends and surprise them, but like I couldn't get that far. Like something prevented me.
I think that
I don't remember.
I think that it has to be like verifiably worthwhile information.
Like I remember spending like a while on it and then
you can't just be like, Mike is a fun loving guy.
That's what I was trying to do.
Yeah. He loves to laugh.
I was disappointed. Yeah. I hadn't gotten as far as like writing other bios or and everything, so it wasn't like a complete waste of time. But I remember I was bummed. Isn't that a funny thing to do?
Be
like Google yourself, see what happens. There's a Wikipedia page for me,
and it like cross references, like in the personal life section.
That's what I want.
Friends with Sarah,
exactly.
And you can click on Sarah.
Mm-hmm, Katie. That's what I wanted to do.
It's pretty good.
Yeah.
That's really funny and weird.
I know. I'm funny and weird.
I thought in the book, I flat out was blown away.
Mm-hmm.
I thought Baby Jane killed Blanche. Like halfway through the book. Because
it was a little confusing actually. Like even having seen the movie and everything, I was like, wait, did they change it? Because I was also like, well, Blanche is dead now, I think. What's going on? Because we didn't see her for a long time again.
No.
Yeah.
So Baby Jane locks Blanche in her room.
Yeah.
Locks the door. And we don't see Blanche anymore. We don't follow her thought process anymore.
For a long time.
And then
it's actually weird.
It's very weird.
Because it also when she comes back in, it doesn't feel like with a boom where it would be like, I fooled you as an author into thinking she was gone, but she's back.
No, it was confusing.
It's just kind of like a veer away.
Yeah. The maid like breaks into the room.
Yeah.
And like they do a moment where I was like, oh my God, this is fucked up. Like I was very aware that we had not seen any of Blanche for a while. And then they say Edna breaks into the room and is horrified by what she sees.
Yeah.
And Baby Jane clubs her on the back of the head with a hammer.
Yeah.
It's like, holy fuck, she killed Blanche.
Yeah.
Edna saw the dead body and was freaked out.
Yeah.
And now Edna's also dead. And then we just start following Jane as she's trying to get rid of the bodies.
Totally. Again, very Norman Batesy.
Very Norman Batesy, yes. And I was like, oh my God.
Jane's in a real state.
But then at a certain point, when Baby Jane feels like she's going to get caught or like she's in trouble, she runs into the bedroom, into Blanche's room.
Yeah.
And she had tied her hands to like she has like a pull-up bar above the bed.
Again, I'm sorry to keep asking this stuff. Did that happen in the book?
Yeah.
And I just don't remember it? Okay. I thought Blanche was like on the floor.
No.
Okay.
She's in bed because the book describes Blanche as her face being bloodless. And when Baby Jane unties Blanche's hands, they just thud.
Yeah.
They just like totally like limp collapse and just hit the bed frame. I was like, Blanche is dead.
D-E-D dead.
And Baby Jane is sitting next to her sister going like, get up. Blanche.
Yeah.
And like calling her name, trying to wake her up. And I was like, oh my fucking God.
I know. Lane, what if we end up like Blanche and Baby Jane? You have white makeup all over your face and beard, like the Joker.
I'm your caretaker.
Another Batman reference.
I'm the pretty one, and I'm still pretty.
I don't want to do it, and you can't make me.
I want an ice cream.
There's a lot of that. You can't make me. That's a real trigger for her. You know what we haven't even talked about? I'm
the pretty one. Me is like 60 years old and fatter and weirder looking. I've still got it. Daddy told me that I can't lose my looks.
And you turn off whatever future device I listen to the podcast on to relive my glory days.
Yeah. We start getting fan mail because people are listening to our podcast. It's now been ported over to like their like virtual pods.
Yeah.
Or something.
We even talked about her insane makeup, which is important when we're saying like the movie is great because there's like a visual element.
Yeah.
By visual element, I mainly mean Bette Davis as Baby Jane.
Yeah.
She has layers and layers of white, crazy pancake makeup foundation on.
Yeah.
Insane thin eyebrows, crazy red lips. She draws out a little heart-shaped beauty mark.
Which is gross.
It's very gross.
Who's drawing a little heart on their face?
I don't know. I was like, that's not a thing.
Was that ever a thing?
I don't think so. She's got the crazy aforementioned baloney curls.
Yeah.
And dresses in like a frilly little dress like a little girl.
Yeah.
But she's a woman in her 60s who they've made to look dumpy and stuff, but with all that accoutrement.
Yeah.
It is unnerving. And it's hard to look away from her. She is so amazing.
Oh, and she's flat out the main character of the movie. Like,
totally.
I thought that maybe we were going to see a little more sort of like Rear Window, misery-ish.
Me too. I didn't remember that.
It would be about Blanche dealing with living under the conditions that Baby Jane has set up. But no, like Baby Jane goes out to the store and we go with her and we're like with her every step of the way after a certain point.
Right. Like,
shocking.
A lot of the lore of the movie with Joan Crawford and Bette Davis is that they had like they had equal billing in this movie.
Yeah.
And it's way more Bette Davis.
So much more.
Like,
Bette
I don't even
Davis.
know why there was any conflict. I know part of their conflict was about you have to watch the show Feud. It's so good. At least watch the first 3 episodes. Like it's interesting because it also has a lot to do with how celebrity worked and the weird symbiotic relationship between studios, between the few gossip columnists at the time and the actors and things like that. And they would have fights because I think at one point Joan Crawford spoke to one of the gossip columnists and said that Bette Davis was going to be vying for Best Supporting Actress and she was going to be vying for Best Actress. And Bette Davis was like, fuck you. Why would you tell them that or whatever?
Yeah.
And now so I thought that was just like, because they were
equal and she was trying to put herself ahead of her.
Right. But now it's like really weird. I think I'm remembering which person did it and that it was Joan Crawford. And like, it's fully Bette Davis's movie.
This is a Bette Davis movie.
And she won an Oscar for it.
She's amazing.
She is. Joan Crawford was beautiful.
Yeah.
My main reference point for Joan Crawford is Mommy Dearest, which I love. And it's Faye Dunaway playing her and she looks bizarre and grotesque. Like that's like a weird, like Baby Jane kind of situation in Joan Crawford's life as she got older. And, so that's
Wait, Mommy Dearest is about Joan Crawford?
Yes.
I thought Mommy Dearest was just a horror movie.
No, it's based on Christina Crawford's book about.
I think you've told me this before.
Oh my God. Yeah. About growing up with Joan Crawford, who is a nut.
Wait a minute.
Yeah.
So Joan Crawford was part of the kickoff of the Grand Dame Gunal subgenre. Mm-hmm. And then she became.
Yeah.
A hag horror?
Yes.
She became a psycho biddy?
Yes.
Oh my God.
She's the ultimate psycho biddy. She kept trying to adopt kids to fill up the hole inside her.
Ooh.
She ended up getting turned down because she was simply too old.
Oh.
I know. It's sad. It's sad. It's one of those things where it's.
Well, I think the psycho biddy genre it's scary and it's sad.
Oh, completely.
Yeah.
But, yeah, her life story is sad, but she was also an asshole.
Wow.
So. She was definitely an abusive mother.
Yeah.
But then she was like she like picked and chose where her abuse landed. Like she was horrible to Christina and who was the daughter who wrote the book Mommy Dearest, which became the movie Mommy Dearest. Jeez. And then, she was like kind of doting to these other 2 twins who she adopted later. She was like kind of fine and dismissive to Christina's brother, Christopher.
Oh, Christina and Christopher.
Yeah.
are they twins?
No.
Because that's like.
They're just adopted, I think.
That's like when you have twins and they're called like Peter and Dieter.
Dieter?
Dita.
No, but she made her twins dress the same. It's called Mommy Dearest because she made her kids call her Mommy Dearest.
Fuck that.
And she called her daughter Christina Darling. It's like a whole anyway.
You know that Bette Davis's daughter is in the movie.
Yes.
Is in Whatever Happened to Baby Jane.
That's also in Feud.
And eventually grew up to write books about her mother, Bette Davis.
Oh, I didn't know that.
Yep,
really?
About how Bette Davis was crazy and an alcoholic and overbearing. And everybody came out and said, nope, not fucking true.
Oh, so do you think she was trying to ride Christina Crawford's coattails?
Now I'm wondering. And Bette Davis's daughter, I don't remember her name. Her name is like BM Mills or something.
It's not BM. I think it's BD.
And BM Mills is a born again Christian and like runs a Christian website, and she has a shitload of free podcasts that are shared via Dropbox. Yeah, I looked up everything about her.
Man, good job, Will.
Yeah.
So it sounds like she definitely, that's so interesting. That was like multi-generational. Like Christina Crawford wrote this incredibly successful memoir and she was like, I want a piece of that.
Yeah. Give me some of that.
That's nuts.
All right. Bette Davis was also crazy. My mom.
Yeah.
And everyone was like, no,
she was just
your mom was fucking cool.
Yeah.
Yo, it sounds like Bette Davis was fucking awesome.
It seems that way in the show too.
She, if they were, like beautiful Hollywood starlets and Hollywood royalty, that's cool. But holy shit, the reputation that I would ascribe to that kind of person would just be like, very perfect. Get my angles right. Make sure the lighting is correct.
Yeah.
Bette Davis in the movie shows an amazing lack of
vanity.
It is, she is so incredible. I read that she insisted on applying her own makeup.
Yep.
She said that Baby Jane is somebody who would never wash her face. She would just put on another layer of makeup. That's amazing. She like shuffles her feet everywhere she's going. She slurs all her speech. She is like hunched over and angry and like, real, what do you want? Like she is not trying to be like a crazy person who's just like, you'll never believe what I've served you, dear sister.
Yeah,
or something like that. She's very much like, eat your food. Walks away. And you hear her feet scuffing the ground as she shuffles out.
Yep.
It is legitimately incredible.
It really is. Like, I could not believe it. And then by contrast, they had to do a reshoot because Joan Crawford was so pissed and jealous of Bette Davis's performance that during the scene on the beach, she kept leaving to go to her trailer for stuff. She'd be like, I'll be right back. And she kept looking better and better every time she came back because she was putting on more makeup and she put on bigger falsies as like stuffed her bra like with bigger inserts than she had before. And they had to reshoot it because when they showed, I mean, this is straight from Feud. So, but I assume they did their research because it seems like it lines up with what I've read online. I didn't read this online, but it's from Feud, that when they did their private screening with the producers and everything, they were like, you need to reshoot this. We're supposed to believe that she's dying and she looks better and better every time you cut back to her. She looks like she's aging in reverse. So they had to film the final scene of her, like, doing her speech and dying on the set in, like, a sandbox.
That's amazing.
Because she had, like, come back looking better all the time.
What a fucking idiot.
I know.
It really sounds like everything that I looked up about the Feud makes it seem like Bette Davis was hilarious. Yeah. And like a real artist who was like, no, the character that I'm playing has to look fucking crazy. So I'm going to look fucking crazy.
She was, again.
And that Joan Crawford was like, I'm a professional.
Yeah.
Like,
well, it also, I mean, it seems like Bette Davis is a real ball buster too. I mean, it's funny, but like, I think she's awesome, but she definitely wasn't above like some petty shit. Yeah. So like Joan Crawford was married to like the CEO of Pepsi or something. So Bette Davis had Coke machines.
It's like so stupid.
It's so stupid.
It's like such a funny, dumb fuck you that like,
totally.
I feel like you couldn't legitimately be offended by it.
Totally.
Like I feel like you just have to be like, what is wrong with you? Why'd you do this? Why'd you put Coke machines everywhere?
God damn it.
And Bette Davis would just be like, I bet she's annoyed by this.
Yeah.
Like, what? It's so stupid. Such a dumb thing.
She kicked her in the head for real during the scene where she's kicking her on the ground.
Now that's crazy.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. She's a little crazy herself too. Oh man, I just had something in my head.
Is Susan Sarandon awesome?
She's amazing.
I know Susan Sarandon from like 2 things, and I love her.
She is so good.
Really?
She's like as good at playing Bette Davis as Bette Davis is at playing Baby Jane.
That's awesome. All right. I would check it out just for that, honestly.
Yeah. She's amazing. God, let me think. There was like, I know what. So this is a rumor. It's unsubstantiated because there's no way you can really prove it. But it was said that when Joan Crawford died, that Bette Davis was out at dinner in Hollywood somewhere. And somebody came up to her and was like, Miss Davis, I hate to tell you this, but Joan Crawford just died. And she, like, God, I don't have the direct quote what the hell is it, but she basically, like, turned around and was like, she was a cunt. Just like, went about her business.
Whoa.
Something like that.
That's kind of a bummer.
That's what I'm saying. Because you would think that, like, they have this, you know, they're adversaries, but they have this begrudging respect for each other below all of it. And I think that's probably true, but some of it was so petty and stupid that you can't really award either one of them or give either one of them total credit. Like,
that bums me out. When two people hate each other, I'm always like, I wonder if there's a little element of like, boy, this is dorky, but like Professor Xavier and Magneto. They're fucking enemies, but like Xavier dies and Magneto is like, he was one of the finest men I ever knew. It's like, all right, well, you spent the last 30 years trying to kill each other. He's like, but I respected him.
Right.
He knew what he was doing.
Exactly.
Something like that. It's a shame that she would just be like, fuck her.
Yeah. It was, God, I know that she called her the C word at some point. I think that was when it was.
It's weird.
I want to find it.
So one of the things that I wanted to ask you, and it's not something that we'll ever really have an answer to. Do you feel like Stephen King just fucking flat out ripped this off when he made Misery?
That didn't occur to me at all.
No?
So, no, I guess not.
Holy Magoli, it just made me think of Misery, especially at the beginning, where it's like, okay, you've lost the use of your legs and you're completely at the mercy of a crazy person. And
that's a good point.
She's out of the house right now. Better go exploring around the house. And then, like, as both of them are like
very, very good points.
As both of them are like exploring around the house while Annie Wilkes and Baby Jane are out of the house, we're like intercutting where Blanche is trying to get down the stairs. And she's almost to the bottom of the stairs. And then we see Baby Jane like getting in her car to come home. And we're like, oh my God. Blanche doesn't have enough time to get back up the stairs before Baby Jane comes in. And same deal with Misery, where it's like he gets into the closet
I don't know why.
and he gets the meds, and then we find out that Annie Wilkes is on her way back home. And you're like, oh my God, he doesn't have enough time to get back into the bedroom. Like, same thing. Just the same thing.
Yeah, you are completely right. I have no idea why that didn't occur to me. I guess just because the imagery is so different.
I guess, yeah.
I don't know.
How bonkers is that?
It really is. Real quick, by the way, because I'm going to drop this now. I can't find the same anecdote that I saw about her hearing it from somebody at a restaurant. But this article says, upon hearing the news, Davis supposedly held on to her grudge until the very end, reportedly commenting, "You should never say bad things about the dead, only good. Joan Crawford is dead. Good." Which is much better than the other one.
Wow.
Did I make that up? I swear to God, there was...
That's certainly a lot more eloquent.
It definitely is. There was something about somebody just saying something to her about it and her simply just saying what I said.
That's really
in case that word is harsh on anybody's
and now
ears.
you're afraid of saying it again.
Just in case, because I don't mind that word, but I know some people it makes them really cringy.
Fair enough.
I swear to God, I read something about her just kind of, somebody asking her about that and her just flippantly saying that.
Huh.
I don't remember.
That second one sounds like so like pre-written.
I know. I don't know how you could say that off the cuff.
Yeah.
Like if she was like out at dinner and somebody said that and she turned around and said that.
It's like a Yogi Berra thing.
I know.
Like,
people of that, maybe it was just at a different age.
Yeah, maybe everybody was quicker.
Yeah, maybe.
I don't know.
I couldn't come out with that.
It's really weird.
Yeah.
I bet like some like really cool, funny improvisers now would come up with like Ben Stiller would say that when Kevin James dies or something. Anyway.
Are they mortal enemies?
Sure. I don't know. I just wanted to
Paul
pick,
Blart Mall Cop actually originally Ben Stiller's script and then James scooped it right out from underneath him?
I'll say this. As I was very recently, because I constantly think about doing a movie review podcast.
Yeah.
I wanted to be particularly horror because I'm into horror, but I wanted to leave the door open.
You've mentioned it twice now. You should just do it.
I know. It's also one of those things where it's like I have to weigh out how much time I want to spend on it and money.
Thing.
I've honestly considered trying to do some sort of a fundraiser because to do this I'd have to get movies all the goddamn time.
Totally.
And I just don't have movies and I don't want to spend a zillion goddamn dollars. Goddamn dollars. Damn it. Dollars doing it. So if like people were into it and I could fundraise it, I would just do it. But that's one of the big things.
Yeah.
But I as much as I wanted to be particularly horror.
Yeah.
It occurred to me that I did want to leave the door open to maybe do a Patreon series where I watch every Adam Sandler movie.
That's a lot.
Yeah. Oh yeah, I'm serious, and I know that. Where it would be like,
how many do you think that is?
I don't know.
Like of his, like where he wrote it or whatever?
No, like if it's on his IMDb, I watch it.
Okay. God, why?
Because I feel like that's stupid. And like nobody reviews, like if you're going to find like a movie review show,
you're right.
it's like all superhero movies, action movies, horror and stuff where it's like comedy is so subjective anyway.
Yeah.
But I would sit down and put myself through watching every Adam Sandler
And you can't
movie.
really like theorize about comedy. I feel like that's part of what's fun about listening to.
No. But it would also be fun to just be like,
Oh, totally.
to even do it like Shmook Club where it's just like, this week I watched 8 Crazy Nights. Adam Sandler moves to a snowy village and gets embroiled in a scheme, like having to like explain the plot of
Totally.
whatever the fuck. Because I had also thought of a podcast called Caged In, where I would literally just watch everything that's on Nicolas Cage's
Well, I mean, that's
IMDb.
genius. People would listen to that like nobody's business. I would.
I know it. I know. Part of my problem is I think I know the things that people would be into.
Yeah.
I don't know how willing I am to subject myself to those things. And
that seems fun to me. I'd watch all the Nicolas Cage movies.
It's a lot of time and money.
I know. That's the thing.
That's one of the big things.
Yeah.
Yeah. But whatever. Anyway, hit me up. Will@talkbomb.com. If you think I should do this, if you would support this, how about let's do it that way? Because it would cost me so much fucking money to do this. If you would support this, Will@talkbomb.com, @WillRogers2000, @Haunted Sponge.
Yeah.
Because I would like to do that.
Yeah, it sounds awesome.
Anyway, I think about it so much.
Yeah.
So anyway, Stephen King ripping this off.
Yeah.
Really, truly, homage to the Psycho Biddy genre, or just
well, is there kind of like a hostage genre? Like, could it be more that than just straight up whatever happened to Baby Jane?
I don't know that many hostage.
I can't
movies.
think of another one, actually.
I mean, I can think of more things where it's like somebody bound to a wheelchair is in danger. Rear Window.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
But I feel like this is way more specific. Somebody
Injured
bound to a
person.
wheelchair under the care of somebody who's
I would
lost
say
their mind.
injured person under the care of crazy person.
Yeah. Exactly.
Is that a thing?
I don't think so. I think it's 2 movies.
So
Baby Jane and Misery.
Yeah.
Very weird, right?
Has he ever acknowledged that? Did you Google it or anything?
I did not Google it. I did not Google it.
Yeah, because now that you say it, it seems so obvious.
I know. It like sticks out like a sore thumb.
Yeah. Has he done that with any other books that you know of?
I mean, I think, is like happy to play off tropes. I think he rips himself off a lot. Mm-hmm. Ripping off is the wrong word. He can rip whatever the fuck he wants. But like 1408 kind of is The Shining a little bit. You know what I mean? Like he just kind of, he circles a lot of the same ideas. Mm-hmm. A lot of his leading characters are writers.
Yeah.
So I think that he does that a lot. And honestly,
nobody's ever commented on it.
And with the volume that he writes, it's totally within the realm of possibility that he's just like, hey, I came up with another idea. And like, I notice it.
What do you think
that
of this
it's
one?
Baby Jane. But for him, he's like, what do you mean? No, that's just like that was the 3rd book I wrote this year.
Yeah.
I don't know.
I mean,
I don't even know what I'm writing.
Who am I? They're both great. I love Misery.
Yeah, Misery's
so
great.
it's different enough that I didn't think about it right away. But you're right. There are a lot of parallels now that you mention it.
A lot.
Yeah.
Also in the movie, more so than the book, I found this really maddening, problematic, flat out problematic. In the book, because we're in Blanche's head, we understand her thought process. She wants help.
Right.
Now, Baby Jane, like Blanche is trying to call like the doctor to get the doctor to come visit her. I don't know why she's not calling the police.
Me neither. I don't understand why. Also, like,
I think she's in denial.
I guess she is.
She's an enabler.
Yeah, she is. And also at one point, Mrs. Stitt, the housekeeper, is like, I swear if you don't do this thing, I'm gonna call the police. Don't give her a chance. Just go call the police.
Yeah, get the cops in there.
People just keep being like, I'm telling you.
You really should.
Yeah.
Call the cops. But yeah, so when Blanche is obviously going to call the police, Baby Jane comes into the room and rips the phone out of the wall.
Yeah.
And she's like, I better take the phone with me downstairs.
Yeah.
I'll be taking all the phone calls from now on.
Ugh.
And that's scary.
Totally.
And then Blanche writes a note that she wants to throw out the window for the neighbor to find. Mm-hmm. And she eventually is like, and I thought this was like really clever in the book. She wants to throw the note out. Mm-hmm. She's afraid that Jane might find it or that the neighbor might ask Jane about it. Because the note just says like, get the doctor. Mm-hmm. So she writes, and don't tell my sister.
Yeah.
And then realizes, okay, if I throw the note out the window and the neighbor gets it and the neighbor reads it, what if they don't do anything?
Right.
Oh, what if they take the note and realize, hey, this is a juicy story. There's obviously something going on in that house, and they sell the story to the tabloids. And then I look like, an invalid who's being taken care of by a shut-in.
Yeah.
And we're exploited. All right, I better not.
Yeah.
And I honestly, I thought it was a little much until I was like, you know what? She is in such hardcore denial. I think she's afraid of leaving the situation she's in. She obviously knows she's in danger.
Yeah.
But I think that she's like, no, I love my sister and she's trying to harm me. No, she's not trying to harm me.
Oh, definitely.
She wouldn't really hurt me. So I think she's really just like so worked up. She's convincing herself that she's not in the danger that she's in. And whatever mental gymnastics she has to do to convince herself like, oh no, don't get help.
Yeah.
She's going to do it.
Yeah.
So she just keeps the note on her forever, basically.
Yeah, totally.
Now in the movie, there's an asinine series of events where it's like there's a Rube Goldberg machine.
Right.
There's like the gods of fate are just conspiring against
It doesn't make any
Blanche.
sense.
No.
Also, that neighbor is the most pain in the ass neighbor in the world in the movie. She's up Jane's butt all the time. Every time Jane comes outside, Mrs. Bates is like, Mrs. Hudson, Mrs. Hudson.
Yeah. And
constantly.
At first, when Baby Jane is like, what?
Yeah.
I'll give her the flowers and shuts the door. You're like, oh,
Yeah.
Jane's a monster.
Yeah.
By the 14th time,
Yeah.
I'm just like, I would do this to the neighbor too.
Me too. She's really annoying.
Get away from me.
Yeah.
Stop talking to me.
Yeah, I
I know
honestly
I'm
don't like
outside, but I'm not fucking here to talk to you.
Yeah, I'm not up for grabs.
No. When it snowed just prior to the storm, I was walking the dog in the morning and I was just walking up the stairs.
Yeah.
I was about to leave for work and I heard, hey, and I thought, just keep going.
Keep going, keep going, keep going.
And I heard, hey, hold up a minute.
Uh-oh.
And I was like, oh, I can't.
I know, then you can't. Yeah.
I can't deny it now. And
Yeah.
I turned. My crazy neighbor was on her front porch. And I went, yeah. I was so ready to be annoyed. I was just like, I gotta go. I gotta get to work. And she goes, it's going to snow tomorrow. I was like, I know. And she goes, I'll do your driveway.
Yes.
And I was like, oh.
Oh, thanks.
Well, thank you. How's your day looking? How are you today?
I told you that I saw her at Stop and Shop, right?
No.
I heard her before I saw her.
Really?
Yeah.
What's she doing there?
She was shopping.
But she was also shouting?
She was like talking to her husband or something. I texted you about it. They were both
Okay,
there.
she wasn't just talking to strangers.
No, I don't think so.
Because she is like a real, like, people will be outside,
yeah.
kids will be playing, she'll be like, hey, yo, kids! And you're just like, what are you saying to the kids? Why are you talking to everyone? Stop it.
I was like, oh God, Brian, we gotta go.
Yeah. Yeah. And then the next day when it
Her
snowed,
hair's a little bit more grown in.
I saw her outside and she said,
Was she wearing her tank top?
no.
Sans brassiere?
No.
That's her normal look.
I saw her outside and she goes, hey, come over in a little bit. I'll let you use my snowblower to do your driveway. And I was like,
Oh.
that's not doing my driveway.
No, that's not the same. I mean, it's still sweet. Wait, you have a snowblower, don't you?
I do.
You don't need that shit then.
No.
Oh, so you asked her about her day for nothing.
Yeah, what the fuck?
Ugh, come on.
And then she did my driveway for me.
Oh, she did?
She did.
Oh, nice.
All over the map.
Yeah.
All over the map.
I was about to say, that's a real up and down day.
Oh, it's a lot of improvising. Who knows what's going to happen next?
Lots of yes-anding over here.
A lot of things
in
just
New Jersey.
kind of happen over here. Anyway. Yeah. Oh, so in the movie, like, Blanche will throw the note out the window and then Baby Jane appears and, like, picks it up. Like, just like a lot of things, I feel.
Yeah.
I guess there aren't more that I can directly think of, but, like, pretty much every time Blanche does something, like, you thought Baby Jane wasn't around.
Like, oh.
She was around.
Yeah,
And Blanche's
yeah.
like, damn it again.
Oh, also, Blanche is really annoying ringing the buzzer.
So annoying. I pointed that out. I said that to Allie. I was like, does she have to hit that button so much?
Yeah.
It's literally like a ding, ding, ding buzzer
Constantly.
to ring for Baby Jane through the rest of the house. But she doesn't just ding.
Yeah.
Oh, Blanche needs me.
Yeah.
She's like, ding, 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 ding.
It's horrible.
Like it just keeps. And Baby Jane like is in the kitchen at one point and the buzzer starts fucking happening.
Yeah.
And she just goes like, movie star needs me. The beautiful movie star needs her food. Oh, I get the lunch for the beautiful, glorious movie star.
Yeah.
And you're supposed to be like, oh my God, Jane is unhinged.
No, I was like, I get this.
No, fuck you, Blanche.
Yeah.
I'll get your lunch soon.
I'll
make your lunch soon.
You know what else is weird? Like, why does Baby Jane make her... By the way, I like that we only call her Baby Jane.
She's
never
Baby
just
Jane.
Jane. But why does Baby Jane make her lunch so fancy? You know what I mean? Like, she doesn't have to do that. She like puts it on a nice tray, and there's like a full teapot and like a cup for water and a cup for tea, and there's the cover, like the cloche thing over her.
Yeah, they use like the good silverware and stuff.
Yeah.
I thought,
and then Baby Jane's scrubbing it. I'm like, you just don't have to use this.
I thought maybe she doesn't usually, but now she's like getting fucking pissed off, and so she's putting dead rats on it and stuff, so that it's like comical for Baby Jane to be like, oh, here's your fucking tray, princess, with everything that's like perfect on it.
Totally.
But when you open it, it's a dead rat. It's not a shock if she walks into the room carrying a plate with a rat on it. Puts it on the table.
I think Baby Jane just likes fancy things.
Well, I think they both do. I think that they live in a very like elegant world. They live in like a mansion.
Oh yeah.
It's a cool house. They still have like money.
Yeah.
And yeah. Honestly, it made me think of our like shitty aunt who's like very well off and very sort of pretentious, likes her jewelry, has to like be put together just right, and like that's a Baby Jane.
Yeah.
A little bit of a Baby Jane right there.
Yeah, there's a dot.
Bit of a BJ.
Oh.
Anyway. But
getting close to the fire.
I mean, whatever.
Yeah,
it's been years at this point. She's an asshole.
I know.
So, fuck. I was gonna say something else.
About silverware, their house.
Oh, we didn't really even talk about. Not that there's like a ton to get into about it, but the fact that Baby Jane is going to be trying to put on her act again after all these years
because of the success of Baby Snooks.
Yeah, Baby Snooks is back. Did you look up Baby Snooks?
No.
Snooks?
No. Fanny Bryce.
Baby Snooks, as far as I could tell from Googling it once and looking at it for 5 seconds before, I was like, I don't want to look at this anymore.
Yeah.
Was always an adult being a precocious child. Ew. Like, it was a joke.
Yeah.
It was like SNL.
Yeah.
If a sketch performer is dressed up like a kid.
Okay.
That was the act.
Okay.
And then I think she just went away and was doing it again.
Yeah.
So it is Baby Jane being unhinged.
Right.
I can do this, but her act would be singing cute songs.
Yeah.
Like Shirley Temple. And like not even really dancing, just having like
posing.
Overwrought choreography where she's like gesturing up to heaven. I'm writing a letter to Daddy.
Ugh, that part was so good.
It is amazing. Yeah, she's like
also
standing in the shadows and then comes into the light and sees her own reflection and freaks out because she's so old.
Yeah. Also in Feud, so she was really brave and everything, but she was also, and this is all fully understandable, very nervous. She was like, am I just going to look like a fool? You know what I mean? She was like, I feel like this is right, but like, what if this is like a joke?
Yeah.
You know, but it paid off because she's so good.
Well, I feel like this was a big game. I mean, again,
totally.
This kicked off a genre. I always like finding stuff like this too, where it's like, oh, this was the birthplace of a thing.
Well, but
there was nothing like it before.
It's not that big a thing because I can't think of another movie.
Well, no, but I'm saying even forget that I consider this to be part of like the Grand Dame Gunal, not just me, everybody, but like forget that I'm interested in that aspect. The fact that nothing had existed like this before.
Completely.
And then they went and did something that was so outside the norm. Like, okay, let's get an older actress who is an older actress and make her look grotesque.
Yeah.
No one had done that.
Yeah.
It was a gamble.
Totally.
And she should have been afraid because who knew how it could have turned out? They could have edited it in a certain way to make it more mawkish than sort of like tragic and scary.
Yeah.
It could have been catastrophic.
Totally.
But instead it is like can't take your eyes off of what she is doing. Amazing.
Talking about it like makes me want to watch it again. It's that good.
Oh yeah, 100%. To the point
I would rewatch Feud too. It's also good.
I honestly might double back to watch Feud now.
You have
to. In the movie, I really enjoy that Edwin Flagg. By the way, Flagg.
Yep.
there is a character in The Gunslinger by Stephen King named Randall Flagg.
Oh.
And I've just never heard the name Flagg anywhere else. And I already had a Stephen King connection in my head. So that could be another.
It jumped out.
That could be another piece of evidence.
Yeah.
But in the movie, Edwin Flagg, I guess two things. I fucking forgot he did one of these things. Baby Jane has dolls of herself.
Yeah.
Well, at least one doll.
Yeah.
Because they used to make them when she was famous and shit. And then Edwin comes over and they get drunk together. And he's deliberately trying to take advantage of this older woman who's going to pay him.
Right.
And she runs upstairs, Baby Jane. And while he is downstairs and drinking and drunk, he looks over and sees the Baby Jane doll. And then gets in one of the wheelchairs.
Yeah.
And puts a blanket over him.
Having a bit of fun.
And puts the doll in his lap and starts going like, woo! And scooting around the house in the wheelchair. And then Baby Jen looks over the banister and she's like, Edwin!
Yeah.
But my thing, I would just be like, what are you doing?
She's horrified. She's like, no!
I know.
I was like, what?
It was
is
so
this calling
weird.
up Blanche for you? Is that what the problem is? I don't understand.
But I could not figure out what I was looking at and why it was as big a deal as it was. Like, it was
no
stupid.
idea. Yeah.
I would be like, what do you do? Like, oh, so you're a loser? I didn't know that you were a fucking weird loser.
Yeah.
I couldn't figure out what was going on there. And then he sees Blanche tied up and is freaked out. She's like, oh my God, someone's here to help me.
Yeah.
And he's like, oh my God,
I gotta get out of here.
Gross and scary.
Yeah.
And runs away.
Totally.
And that's what makes Baby Jane be like, oh my God, he's going to tell the police.
Right.
In the movie,
she says he's going to tell on me. I don't know if she says that in the book, but it's so little kitty. I was like, oh, this is so good.
He's going to tell on me.
He's going to tell on me.
Yeah. And like the way she's pleading to Blanche, who is like dehydrated, actively dying. She's like, he's going to tell on me, Blanche. We have to get out of here.
Yeah.
And like not acknowledging that Blanche is obviously like at least
like a part of this and one of your victims. Yeah.
But in the movie, Edwin runs away and he's like stumbling around, like freaked out on the street.
Yeah.
And then he walks past a liquor store.
Yeah.
And goes like, okay, I'm going in there. Yeah. And he goes in to get more booze.
Right.
But Baby Jane doesn't know that. She thinks he's going to tell the police.
Right.
I like that sort of like, you've got two people. Edwin,
do you hear from him again ever?
No.
Yeah.
In the movie, no.
Yeah.
Edwin and Baby Jane are just two people who are in it for themselves.
Totally.
And he had an opportunity to save someone, but he didn't take it.
Nope.
He's worried about
He had a rough
himself.
night.
Yeah, he had a bad night. He needs some booze. I need a drink. I need a stiff drink.
Yeah.
There was something really cynical and awful about that.
Yep.
These like desperate performers.
Yeah, the kind of person who would put half and half on their bananas.
Yeah. It's like a shorthand for like a kind of person now. I don't know. Did you see Michelle's new boyfriend? He seems like the kind of guy that would put half and half on his bananas.
I know just what you mean.
Oh, believe me, they're a dime a dozen, that kind. But in the book, Edwin runs away.
Yeah.
And Baby Jane is like, oh, he's going to tell on me. And then runs him down with a car.
Yeah.
Whoa.
I know.
And then he like...
But she doesn't do a good enough job.
No, he survives and somebody finds him with like half his face is like red.
Yeah,
it's like Two-Face now, kind of. And then either way, she runs away to the beach with Blanche and totally goes off the deep end and thinks that people are watching her to be entertained and starts dancing for them.
And they're just curious because the police are all over her.
Yeah.
Whew.
Hiya, Maya.
I know.
It's amazing.
Hunka munka.
I really couldn't believe it.
Yeah.
I couldn't believe it ended right there. Especially like in the movie. So it's an old movie. They have like different conventions. There's like a 5-minute long opening credit sequence.
Yes.
And then the way the movie ends, the camera like pulls back a little bit and she's dancing and twirling and curtsying on the beach.
Yeah.
And then it pretty much just says like the end on the screen. And then the screen goes black and then you're on the Amazon like, browsing page.
It's abrupt.
So when people saw this movie in theaters, they were like, oh my God, this is crazy. Boom, lights on.
Yeah.
It's so abrupt.
Yeah.
It's over. Oh, I guess I'll go outside.
To go back into the world
What's
now?
happening?
Yeah.
Really weird.
I know.
I loved it.
Me too.
I loved it.
A big schmooky double thumbs up.
Yeah.
For Whatever Happened to Baby Jane movie and book.
Hell yes, schmell yes.
Yes. So now, next, William.
We move on.
We're going to a little town somewhere.
Oh, really?
Mm-hmm.
What's it called?
A town, it's called Porbridge.
Sounds a lot like porridge.
It does, but it's not the same as porridge. It's...
Huh. Interesting. You okay?
Yeah, fine. It is, damn it, I was trying to like smoothly pull up the thing for it. We are going to read A Casual Vacancy by J.K. Rowling because we realized that we never had.
So weird.
Yeah.
So weird.
It's very weird. I heard not great things about it, so I kind of like put it off.
I don't care. I'm ready.
Me too. But also it seems like time has been kinder to it and that people may have just compared it to the Harry Potter book. Well, not to the books, but like...
They had expectations off the back of Harry Potter that she would do something amazing.
Exactly.
It's the first book that she wrote after Harry Potter 7.
Yeah, totally. So we've been doing a lot of scary stuff lately. We'll do some more scary stuff.
Oh, yeah.
But we wanted to give you guys a little break if you're not a fan of horror, like our friend and listener Jillian, who's in our private Facebook group, and requested that we do something not scary.
That's right. Yes.
And we aim to please.
Yes.
You know, within reason.
Yeah, sure.
But so we're going to jump over to a casual vacancy, and the town it takes place in is Pagford.
Okay.
Not Porbridge.
Porbridge. Oh, that's awesome.
Which does sound like porridge, but there's no connection.
It does sound like porridge.
All right, so I'm going to read you guys the description of A Casual Vacancy by J.K. Rowling. A big novel about a small town. That is saying this is a long book. So if you guys are going to listen to it, you're going to want to get cracking or read it or listen to it, get cracking ASAP.
Okay.
When Barry Fairbrother dies in his early 40s, the town of Pagford is left in shock. That's also a lot of name. Pagford is seemingly an English ideal. I-D-Y-L-L. Idyll?
I don't know.
An English idyll. With a cobbled market square and an ancient abbey, but what lies beneath the pretty facade is a town at war. Rich at war with poor, rich at war with poor, teenagers at war with their parents, wives at war with their husbands, teachers at war with their pupils. Pagford is not at first what it seems. And the empty seat left by Barry on the parish council soon becomes the catalyst for the biggest war the town has seen yet. Who will triumph in an election fraught with passion, duplicity, and unexpected revelations? A big novel about a small town, The Casual Vacancy is J.K. Rowling's first novel for adults. It is the work of a storyteller like no other.
Awesome.
Yeah.
Yeah, this is, I think...
I'm not going to lie to you. It doesn't sound so good to me.
I mean, it's...
But I'm sure it will be. I can't wait to see how this town council drama goes down.
I think that what I'm going to try to do personally is divorce myself from any expectation because it's J.K. Rowling.
I am. That's why I think it doesn't sound good.
Yeah, I guess.
Otherwise, I'd be like,
well, but then I would think she would be the saving grace of it. That it's like, well, at least it's J.K. Rowling. But my point is that I think that when she wrote this, it was an attempt to do something that was decidedly not Harry Potter.
It probably was.
A little more grown up and a little more sort of like... grounded
in reality.
Yeah. Yeah. So...
Well, nothing's more real than teachers at war with pupils.
I guess. That, yeah.
I really do. I mean, I've always been curious about it, so I'm glad that we're going to read it.
Oh, 100%.
The description doesn't sound so
and
intriguing.
the like neurotic side of me is like, oh, good. We'll have done every J.K. Rowling book.
Totally.
We didn't have a new Cormoran strike this past year, so maybe this can be the sort of like, this will help us bide our time a little bit until we get, what is it called? Fatal White.
Oh, did it come out?
The book is not out.
No, but like she revealed the title?
She kind of revealed the title, and I think that I'm right. I might be wrong about what the title is. I'll look it up for next time.
Why do you think that?
Because she posted a puzzle online.
I know, but you're just guessing it's Fatal White? It's not that she confirmed
I think I saw
anything?
that somebody wrote that, and she was like, yeah.
Oh, okay.
But I don't know 100%.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, she posted like a Wheel of Fortune where she filled in a couple of the letters. Yeah.
Yeah, so maybe this will help. This will help us get our JK fix.
Yeah, totally.
Yeah.
Cool. So we're going to read that. We're going to talk about it in 2 weeks.
Absolutely. Mm-hmm. So until then, if you enjoyed this show, you can do a couple of things. Mm-hmm. One, you can share your thoughts with us about the show, about the book, about anything you want to share. Because
Heck,
we're
anything at all.
you get that right.
Yeah.
We're all over the internet.
Yep. I'm at Chillin' Kristen on Twitter and Instagram.
I'm at Haunted Sponge on all that stuff. Look up the Book Club Shmook Club secret Facebook group. Join up. We've got a bunch of brand new members in there, which is awesome.
Yeah, rules.
So join up as well. To stay up to date with what we're doing. Make sure you follow at TalkBomb, our production company, to get any updates about what we're working on. And if
we do lots of other stuff.
We do. And if you enjoyed this show, you might also consider supporting us a number of ways. You could leave an iTunes review. You could share the show with a friend, write blog posts, share it on Twitter. And you might even consider going to patreon.com/talkbomb, where you can help fund the show. The show takes money. It costs money to do. You can help soften the blow.
Yeah, it'd be great.
So we would greatly appreciate that. But more than anything, we just hope that you had a good time. So next week, we'll be back with an off-book show talking about whatever we want, not book-related, as we read the Casual Vacancy for 2 weeks from now. But until we next meet... That was a good talk, gang.
Meeting adjourned. Does that work?
That works. Oh, it works. Pea pods from Trader Joe's. Pea pods. Puffed pea pods.
Stuffed puffed pea pods from Trader Joe's. Inner peas pea pods.
Excuse me, Mr. Manager. Do you have any stuffed puffed pea pods?
Excuse me, you seem to be out of stuffed puff pea pods. I would like to buy your entire back stock.
Don't walk away from me. I'm asking you about stuffed puffed pea pods.
Are you not hearing me? Am I invisible?
Hey guys, do you like TalkBomb? We could really use your support. Please go to patreon.com/TalkBomb, where you can donate to us monthly. In doing so, you will get for yourself a bunch of bonus shows just as a thank you.
You can also find us on all social media accounts under the username TalkBomb. So that's Twitter, Facebook, Instagram, and Snapchat. Following us online is a great way for you to stay up to date on what we're working on for TalkBomb.
One of the best things you can do for our network is to review this show on iTunes, Stitcher, or whatever platform you listen to us on. Positive reviews help us grow and help new listeners find us.
But more than anything, thank you for listening to this show. We hope you enjoyed it, and we'll see you at TalkBomb.com.